Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Tuwanda. Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Mr. Tuwanda, and what you saw there was a false intro. I screwed up on my intro, so all I did was wait a second, and we are going to see how to fix that in an edit. So give me a second to pause this and render it out. Okay everybody, welcome back. This is going to show you how to edit your videos. I'm in Sony Vegas. Other programs work similarly, but again, I'm in Sony Vegas, so some things I do may just work in Vegas, depending on what I do. So, first I'm going to select the content that I'm going to use in my video. Now, alongside the content that I've just imported, I also want to add my intro. Now, always use the same intro for your channel, or use the same intro for a season or series. Good examples of that are Scott Does Minecraft, who keeps the same intro for a long time. Sometimes he changes it just because he's getting bored of it, but of course everybody does that. So another good example is the Yogscast, who have a different intro for each series they do, but throughout the series the intro is the same. So I always put my intro in first because Sony Vegas asks this question: do you want to set your project video settings to match this media? Yes, you do. At least if that's what you want. I do that. And the reason I don't tick the box asking if I wanted to ask that again is because what if I make a mistake and I put the wrong one in. I'm going to cut my intro short because it's a bit too long. I left some hanging because I wanted room to work. And I'm going to put my other media over top. Now in Sony Vegas you can drag it over the top and it adds a simple crossfade. That's what I like. You don't need much else for gaming. Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Tuwanda. As you can see, that's the part where I messed up. So all I need to do, a simple editing technique, find the keyboard command for cutting, or trimming sometimes it's called, your media. Press it over the spot you want to cut it, and cut the bad part out, and delete it, and drag it over. If you have multiple audio tracks and stuff working, make sure you cut all of the tracks as long as you need to, or you don't have to if you want it to stay the same. It's up to you, I guess, depending on what you're making. So let's pretend this is a full-fledged episode. It's not, obviously it's only a few seconds long, but let's pretend this is a full episode. Now at the end of an episode, you're obviously going to have an outro. So I need to put my outro stuff in. Now if I scroll down, I have a banner for it. And if I put that here, string it out a few seconds, that's long enough, plenty. Maybe one more, because it has to fade out. There. Now here comes music. We've forgotten something. You know, someone talking on their own is okay. I mean, this sounds okay. Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Mr. Tuwanda, and what you saw there, that sounds okay. And it sounds a lot more colorful, and you can pay attention to it a lot easier if you give your brain something else to process besides just someone talking. Now, adding music to your content has to be careful. You have to get what's called royalty-free music. As long as you get royalty-free music, you won't get things like copyright strikes. Also, of course, royalty-free video footage, obviously. So if you go to Google and just simply type in royalty-free music, you can also search genres like dubstep, or rock music, or metal, or whatever you want. But I would stay away from things that only certain people like. Like if you do dubstep, I do lighter dubstep. If you do metal, I do lighter metal music. Typically, I'd also go for instrumentals because you won't be able to hear the lyrics underneath your own voice anyway. And if you can, then that's kind of difficult for the audience to tell what you're saying versus what the lyrics are. So again, find some royalty-free music, make a folder for it, download a whole bunch of tracks so you have stuff to pick from, and import it to your video. As you can see, I have it sorted into genres, and we're just going to add some piano improvisation there because it's simple, and drag it into our track. I'm going to cut that a little shorter, and make it fade in when I do. Now also, if you play the video right now, Mr. Tuwanda, and what you saw there, it's much too loud versus my voice. So I can just drag that down in Sony Vegas, make it very quiet. Now that might be too quiet because my voice isn't too loud in this particular video, so I'm going to keep it like that. See how that is. There was a false intro. That's good. Now I'm gonna do the outro. So I have still the same track going, and it lasts long enough to fit the end of my outro. So I'm just gonna cut and use that one. All I'm going to do, there's other ways to do this. There's envelope method, which is okay. But because this is probably the quickest way for me, I'm just going to make that track louder, cut it, and fit it over the other one. It's much easier. At least for me. So now if you listen and render it out, it gets louder by the end. So finally we have to cut here. I usually let the music stay on for about half a second longer, that way the screen can fade to full black and doesn't cut out early, because it looks kind of weird. Obviously we need the videos that play in the little boxes. Now, you can use a green screen, that's a different day. Look up someone else's green screen tutorial, it's not hard. But sometimes, you have to do extra work, because you might have to rotoscope, you might have to cut out and crop this area, rather than just screening the whole thing, because if you have green in your outro picture, that'll take that out, and you don't want that. For me, I just like using a transparent image that I made in Photoshop. So, I'm just going to drag in my footage, unbind it to the video, and get rid of the audio, and drag my video file underneath in a new layer, so that it goes with the transparency. Now, as you can see, it's too big. So I'm going to cut it at the end and match up with the fade out, and I'm going to go and crop it. Now I've written down, again, take notes on all this stuff so you can do it the same way every time. I've written down the size that needs to be if I record a full screen video, which happens to be precisely 3700. So it's close. I mean, you're never going to get it perfect, but that's about right. I can double check it with full screen check real quick. That looks okay. And that's done. Boom. Done. So, there's another box. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Let's find another video to put in the small box. Now, the big box for me is always the next episode of whatever you just watched. The small box is something else that I've uploaded recently. So in this case, maybe Banished. Let's add Banished, just for fun. Let's add episode 5. So I'm going to add that, do the same thing, unbind the audio to the video, delete the audio, cut out my intro, doesn't have to be perfect, and line it up underneath, fade it in with the rest of the video, cut it, fade out with the rest of the video, and crop it. Now again, I've written down the precise size it needs to be, or roughly at least, to fit this box, which happens to be for me 7750. Now, different size videos and different size screens and render settings and things will be different, of course. And I forgot to move it over so that it fits the box. Now, in Vegas, you can use your arrow keys to get closer and smaller edits. That looks okay. It's not perfect, but it'll be fine. It's the small box. It's just kind of giving viewers an idea. Now there's stuff missing. If you watch my videos, you know that I have text here telling you what they are. So I need to add 2 video tracks because it's 2 simultaneous pieces of text. And all I need to do... Again, there's probably easier ways to do all this, but this is how I like to do it because this is the way I get the most power over what I'm doing. Now you could add text like that and just drag it where it belongs. But, so that I get it exact every time, I have added a preset in Vegas for what I want to do. So this will be more tutorials. There. I just put more of whatever you're doing. Done. First one done. Fade in with the rest of the video. Extend. Fade out with the rest of the video. Boom. And then I need more text for the small box. Right click, insert text media, use my preset or align it with the small box. Always use the same font as well, and I also recommend using an outline, that way you can tell the difference with the text if a similar color comes up. I recommend, again, white or black text, because otherwise it might look weird unless you have a good reason for using a different color. And then this will be Banished Episode 6. Use consistency, I believe that's how I do it. I haven't had this outro but for a few weeks, so I've been using one box, but 2 boxes is better. So I'm going to fade it out with the rest of the video. So now, as you can see, everything fades in at the same time. Pause this and render it out. Now, that went laggy. That's fine, because it's not going to look like that when you render it, unless you choose poorly on how you render. So, to render, simply press this button here in Vegas. You can find out probably in File, Export, somehow in different programs. But for Vegas, you just press Render As. Give it a second. Usually it's faster, but I'm recording, so it's going a little slow. Name it. Put it in the right file like we talked about last episode. Choose your compression. I'm going to go 1080p and a .mp4, which is wonderful. And name it something that you can go with, like episode 2, and name it and put it in the right folder. So that's been it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. And in the next episode, we will be talking about how to make good cover art and things like that for your channel and for your thumbnails. So that'll be in Photoshop. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Like, subscribe, favorite, and all that crap. And see you next time. Bye-bye.